Today's episode is sponsored by 21 Seeds Infused Tequila. 21 Seeds was started in 2019 by three female entrepreneurs and moms whose vision was to create great tasting, smooth spirits with light touch flavor that are easy to mix and enjoy. And boy, are they easy to mix and enjoy, y'all. 21 Seeds hopes to inspire you to gather your tribe and make memories that will last forever. It's the seed of something bigger. 21 Seeds Infused Blanco Tequila, 35% alcohol by volume, imported by Diageo, New York, New York. Please do not forward or share with anyone under 21. Please drink responsibly. Hey y'all, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday, and that means it's Shades of Bravo. That means we're here to give you our BravoCon recap. I'm here with producer Ingrid. Hey, Ingrid.
Hey,
Hey.
this could be the longest episode ever.
Or the shortest, because I don't have a note. I don't have a timeline. I have nothing. I'm leaning on you here.
Hey, good thing you have a producer.
Good thing. We're going to go through the whole thing day by day, step by step. Probably if I look at pictures, it'll jog my memory. But at some point, if you hear the dogs barking, I am gloriously alone in my home, which is wonderful, except that when the dogs start barking, there is no one to shush them. So if they start barking, probably means my son got home from school and I'll hop up and close the door. I told him to take care of it once he got home. But I went today, Ingrid, and saw my new sweet baby, great nephew, George. So fun to hold a little baby.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? It's really. Did you say, "Hi, baby, gorgeous"? Please tell me you did.
No, I didn't. His name is George, though. It kind of would have fit right in.
Yes.
No, we just walked, through we walked a while for Del Rey, and then we had lunch at Cheese Teak, shout out. And it was great. It was so wonderful. It's just so wonderful to be with the baby, and she's doing great. My sister's leaving tomorrow, and that's hard.
Oh, that's hard. Oh, well, we'll keep her in our thoughts, and she maybe can listen to this and have a little laugh. But the weather's beautiful here in DC, and it's kind of strange because it should be fall.
Yeah, it's great.
It's nice. It's nice, and I'm glad to be home.
I felt like when we walked today, I was like, well, if we just do this 6 more times, it would have been like one half of a day of us in Vegas walking the 4 million miles to get everywhere. I did hear Andy say on his show, somebody called and said that they really liked it in Vegas. And he was like, I agree. I think it's great in Vegas. And I agree. I think that it was great in Vegas. We commented quite a bit on just going into the Caesars Forum itself versus the Javits Center. It was so much more spacious. And even though it was crowded, even on the busiest day, Saturday, it wasn't just like shoulder to shoulder,
Right. And also, Vegas is a city that's set up to do big conferences.
Right.
And I think it's probably super cost effective for Bravo or whoever's organizing this thing to do it in Vegas. They can handle large groups of people. I mean, it was smaller this year, but I think it's probably going to be Vegas again. They probably signed some kind of multi-year deal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be true. I think it was good in Vegas, and that'll be the next and only time I'll go back there, which will be for BravoCon. Because as you all heard, if you listen to our Supercast and Patreon, Mary Payne's not a fan of Las Vegas. And,
Ingrid never was, but if you're there with a purpose and you've got your goals, then you can do it. But ironically enough, I'm actually going back December 1st with my husband to see you too, and I cannot believe that I have to go back this fast.
I know.
Anyway,
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, well, we'll get to all that. But first of all, I want to do just a little thank you guys for listening and supporting and all of that stuff. I really appreciate it because, as you know, I'm not actually a sound engineer. So I appreciate the fact that you work with me and have patience with me and all of that stuff. I also would love it if you'd follow us on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod, because there's going to be a lot of fun stuff and there's good pictures and just lots of fun over there. Just to clear a little bit of confusion up, see, this is the housekeeping section,
Oh,
and
it is?
that's my
Okay.
job because that's the producer's job, right?
Yep.
So, Apple subscriptions. This is a thing you've probably seen on your Apple feed if you listen to us on Apple,
Yeah,
and
people are real confused about this.
lots of content providers are putting subscription stuff on Apple. Okay, so what we've tried to do is put our stuff on Apple, but only the stuff that you're going to see on Prime. It's not like you're getting anything different. You have to be at the $10 level on Apple subscriptions because that's where you find the ad free and some of that stuff. But all of our regular stuff is still there for free. Okay. What I do is because I like to give people a little. Everybody likes a little VIP perk, right?
Hmm.
So I post our regular episodes at 7 a.m. Eastern, if possible. Sometimes it's not possible, but I always post them an hour before the public feed. So if you see something on Apple that is usually available to the public for free and it's not, just wait an hour and come back and it'll probably be there. And I'm talking specifically about Malfeasance Monday, which is Love After Lockup right now, 90 Day Tuesday, and that's just regular 90 Day Fiance right now, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Bravo Thursday. So if you see one of those that's only subscriber available, come back because it'll be there for you. Okay?
Okay. So, but if you want to listen early and you clicked it, it would be $10, and it would be $10 for the month.
It's $10 a month. You get a 3-day free like trial
Uh huh.
subscription.
Uh huh.
But I
Because it's
can't.
ad free. Because it's ad
Right,
free.
it's ad
Yep.
free and you get some extra stuff. You get that extra content, that juicy extra content.
Hmm.
But I can't cancel that for you. If you sign up for that, you have to cancel it yourself through your Apple subscriptions. Okay, I
Yeah.
can't help you with that. So you have to figure that out yourself. This is so boring. I'm almost falling asleep myself. So I'm going to stop with the housekeeping.
Okay.
Unless you want to
All right.
talk about previous shows or anything like that. I don't know.
No, I'm trying to even remember what I've watched at this point because, yes, Ingrid, why are you making hand motions at me?
Because I just didn't know if you wanted to discuss last week's Bravo show,
Last week's Bravo show.
Thursday.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, here I understand what you're saying now. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, now
Now,
speaking
now
of,
my
speaking of
dog,
dogs.
now my dog is barking, so I'm gonna
Um,
just pause myself for a second.
Okay, yeah, no. So I was just trying to think of what I've watched this week because I've been so behind on my Bravo watching. I did watch Miami, and then I listened to Ben and Ronnie. I was just trying to think of what all I listened. I mean, I got to actually physically watch. I'm behind on my shows. I've caught up now on Plathville and 90 Day, guys. This weekend, for those of you who listen to 90 Day and the other way over the weekend, that will be listening this weekend, it'll come out on Saturday. It's going to be with Matt of Reality Gaze because Amy Archer is on a bank trip. So, and she is
Wait,
on a bank trip.
what's a bang trip?
It's when you go out of town with your husband for banging.
Oh God.
Yeah, or your wife or your spouse or your partner, whatever. It's just a bank trip. That's
Okay.
what she calls it.
God bless.
That's what she calls it. So God bless her. Um, that she's young and still wants to do that. Um, so okay, I think what you wanted me to address was last week we had an episode on Thursday that was Shades of Bravo, and it was an episode with the two of the three founders of the 21 Seeds infused tequila, and we love them. And obviously that was sponsored content because they helped sponsor this podcast, and they were sponsoring our event, and so we were very happy to talk to them. I understand that wasn't for everybody, and so I think that I put it out. Hey, this is what it's going to be, and if you don't enjoy talking about tequila, this won't be the episode for you. I thought I explained it pretty well, and we did talk about Bravo just a little, maybe not as much as I wanted, but that's sometimes the risk you
Hmm.
take. So,
Well, it was a little experiment, you guys, because the podcast business is not for the faint of heart. So we have to try new things, and so that's that. So now let's get into it, should we?
yeah, the dogs are barking. Let's get into when we left Wednesday at the butt crack of dawn Wednesday morning. Our flight was 7:30 a.m. Correct?
7:20. I don't know.
Just too Anyway, guys, I'm bougie and I'm always trying to get an upgrade. And also, I'm like platinum on American Airlines because I use that credit card for everything. So I kept thinking Ingrid and I would get upgraded. I'd put it in for it like right when I booked the tickets, but we did not get upgraded. So we were, in fact, in the extra legroom section across the aisle from each other. The problem with that is that, Ingrid, you don't seem to have a problem sleeping sitting straight up, but I really do.
Well,
It wasn't a good kickoff for me.
I was just tired. Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
was
even,
just
let me tell
tired.
you the truth, even if I would have been like in a bougie business class seat, probably wouldn't have slept there either because it's not like you're laying down. But it's a 5 hour flight. So we got to Vegas and our room wasn't ready because we got there so freaking early. So finally, one room was ready. We went to my room. And for Wednesday night, we had plans. Oh, we're going to have dinner with Babs, right?
Babs is our bunkie friend who
Yeah.
made our stay in Vegas so enjoyable and
Yep.
so wonderful. She just could not have been nicer, more welcoming, more accommodating.
All
Love
of
you,
it.
Babs. Yep.
Yep. Thank you, Babs. She helped us get like, water in our room. And here's a tip. If you ever need a fridge in your room, because they give you a mini fridge, but it's filled with that stuff, right? So if you touch it, then they're going to get charged for it. You call down to the front desk and say, I need a medication refrigerator. And they're not even allowed to ask you really what medicine is for. And Doug Buden told me they actually have to give it to your room within 15 minutes. So I was like, wow, I didn't know
Jeez.
that. Anyway, they brought me one. I think they brought you one, Ingrid. Yes.
They did. They
And
did.
got to put my waters in there. So shout out Babs at Caesars. That was amazing. We had dinner with Babs that night at Hell's Kitchen, a Gordon Ramsay restaurant. That was great. Really good. Yeah.
Delicious. Yep.
Delicious food. And then that's it. Because I think in that afternoon I had recorded with Ryan for last
You
week's
did.
episode.
And we did meet him for a drink after dinner just
We
quickly
did.
to
We
break
did. You're right.
down some stuff and he was wonderful as always. You guys, we're going to pop in some audio clips from some of our besties throughout this episode. So stay tuned for those. And one is from Ryan, and maybe we should pop it in right here.
Okay, we'll pop it in right here.
What up, Pink Shade? It's Ryan Bailey. I just woke up from a 3-hour much-needed nap after I drove back from Vegas today. But what a whirlwind! And I'm actually still trying to remember things that actually too much happened. Where I'm forgetting like huge chunks of time. Because there was just so many really amazing things happened, and it wasn't just the Bravo convention; it was everything surrounding it. CabarAmy, Amy Phillips show was amazing. So many great people there. Got to go to that Jeff Lewis pre-party, which was insane because I got to finally have a conversation with Sutton, which was as bizarre as I wanted it to be. The convention itself, I mean, you had the Vanderpump Rules panel on Friday, which was a little tense and very weird because DJ James Kennedy and Tom Sandoval did a push-up contest, which I thought was weirdly tone deaf after everything that happened this season. I love the Vanderpump Rules panel on Saturday with the producers talking about this past season and the season to come. I mean, most importantly, though, and I keep saying this, is I just really loved meeting fellow Bravo fans and listeners of the podcast, and it just blew me away. It really blew me away. And I'm sure Mary Payne feels the same way, as we all did. I just was blown away. It really was just, it's a lot. It's one of those things that's going to take me a couple of days to fully process. And the only thing that sucked was lack of sleep. But other than that, I mean, I saw DJ James Kennedy spin at Club Aria. It's been a hot minute since I've been in a nightclub, so that was an experience in itself. And of course, he brought Jax Taylor and Tom Schwartz with him, which cracked me up that Jax had to sit at a DJ James Kennedy DJ set when he's made fun of DJ James Kennedy and his DJing for so many seasons. But it was kind of weirdly mind-blowing just to bump into Bravo celebrities just randomly, to see all of that. I mean, it's really nice to be at places where there is an overwhelming feeling of joy. and everybody is really happy to be there. And there's only like so many experiences in life where you see a majority of people very happy, because that's hard, man, because can be really hard. So it's great to have those experiences where everybody is truly happy. And it's great to meet a lot of other content creators in person and see them. And it was just great. I mean, I had drinks with Payne and Ingrid on Wednesday night when I got in, and God, I was there since Wednesday. My God, that was great. I mean, there's not a lot of bad things about it, except just having your body and your spirit broken down over the course of 4 days. But listen, I can't wait to do it again next year, and I know there's like about 80 moments that I'm forgetting. And I've already been DMing with Bravo celebrities that I didn't get to see in person. And we're like, next year. So here's to next year. And I hope all you guys will consider coming. I thought it was really, really a great event. And I didn't lose anything. Last year at BravoCon, you guys, I got my wallet stolen and my recording equipment. So there's like a lost interview with me and Teresa Giudice that's like just out there somewhere, which cracks me up to no end. At the time, it did not crack me up. It was a very sad moment. But this year, I did not lose anything or get anything stolen. That I know. I haven't unpacked yet, but I have a pretty good feeling. So I have a pretty good feeling I have everything. Even though, you guys, leaving the hotel this morning, I lost my car key. I had it out, and it was under towels in the shower room, the bathroom. Guys, my mind isn't working. Anyways, just wanted a quick note to say, hey, what up, monkeys? What up, Pink Shade? And sorry about my voice, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that clip from Ryan. He was the king of BravoCon. Walking around with Ryan at BravoCon was like walking around with Andy Cohen, or walking around with Doug and Megan, which we did, and that was also like walking around with Andy Cohen. Listen, I did get recognized a couple of times, so I'll take it.
It was so exciting when she did. Okay, so moving right along. So then it's Thursday, okay? And we, BravoCon doesn't start till Friday, but my sister came to town.
Yay, Leah. Thank you, yes. Leah.
Leah was a huge help at our event, which was really, really nice. So anyway, so Thursday was really CabarAmy focused.
Mm-hmm.
And our event with Amy Phillips at Notoriety was
I went to lunch with Doug that day.
Oh, that's true.
I went to lunch with Doug Buden from the Jeff Lewis channel, Jeff Lewis Live, and he was in charge of this big party that Jeff was throwing. And he showed me on his laptop, like all the people that RSVP'd. It was lots and lots of housewives. He told me that Ramona had just RSVP'd. I was like, well, she got fired from her job this morning at Douglas Elliman. He's like, I bet she won't come. I was like, I can't even believe she just RSVP'd when Bravo has like told her she can't come to BravoCon. But she RSVP'd after all that. So anyway, she's still planning to come. She didn't show up. He said he had a wonderful time. The party was a huge success. Jeff was very happy with it, and that's what mattered.
Well, certainly the pictures looked amazing.
Yeah. And so Doug and I went to lunch at the Palm. He got recognized as we were checking in to sit and as we were sitting down. So this was my opportunity to pass out my chips to people, but I couldn't because I didn't have them yet. But this is where the poker chips start to come into play. But I did, I just like told those people who I was. I have no idea if they were like, sure, you can get in the picture. I was like, that's fine. I'll take the picture. That was fine.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I had the makeup lady come to my room and she did my makeup. She did a great job. When she first did it, I was like, oh, no. Way too much. I made her trim the lashes, made her tone down the eyeshadow. It was way too much. But then after she did, I still felt like I looked a little too much, but in the pictures it looked good, which it always does, but you always just feel like you look like crazy pants, clown face.
It's so much different than your normal life, right? Like that's just how it is. I can't even imagine how these housewives feel on a daily basis. You know?
I saw Lala posted, I'm never doing my hair and makeup again. So we went, so Ingrid and Leo went early over to Notoriety Live, where Amy's 3 shows were. and got everything arranged. So, and I was getting my makeup done. So by the time I got there, like it was all done. It was wonderful. I appreciated it so
It was
much.
really wonderful. And the band that was in the room right before or in the room where we were going to have our meet and greet after, it was a yacht rock band. And the dude, the headliner guy, like the head bitch in charge of that band, is like Erica Jane's touring manager.
Is he the
So
lead singer?
yes. So I
Okay.
talked to him, Kevin, shout out Kevin. He was at her booth all weekend selling
I know.
thong underpants and t-shirts. So anyway, that was kind of just like surreal. And then Amy's show,
Great.
first of all, sold out. Lovely theater, lovely little theater. She really has talent, you guys. I don't know if you ever will get a chance to see her. I mean, she doesn't, it's not like she tours a bunch like Taylor Swift style, but if you ever get a chance, you must see her. She's got real talent.
Yeah. Her show was great. Like I said, I'd seen it before, and it was a smidge different this time. She had changed it a little, and then we rode home with her after our party. But our after party was great. Now, I would say if we ever did it again, I would want the room to be half the size because the room was really big. So there were a lot of people there, but you couldn't really tell because it was so spread out. I like it to be, not that I wanted it to be crowded, but at least to be able to like see who was there, to mix and mingle a little bit. But Amy had this huge step and repeat. And we had our little tiny step and repeat, but that was fine. And
It really
let's see.
worked. It really worked. We had some nice guests there.
We had Brian Moylan, we had Ryan Bailey, we had Ronnie Karam, we had the guy that does Housewives Happy Hour. We had, of course, Sarah Golly from Andy's Girls. She came. We had Mandy Slutzker from Is This Real Life? And maybe this is a good spot to drop in Mandy's clip about the weekend. All right.
That's a great idea. Here's Mandy.
Hi, this is Mandy Slutzker from Is This Real Life? I had so much fun at BravoCon 2023 that I am in bed sick now. It's not COVID, but oh man, did I have a great time. I would say some of my highlights were just being around other fans that have the same jokes as you, the same kind of love for these shows as you do. It really felt like being at Disney World, and then when you get to meet the housewives, it felt like meeting the Disney princesses. They were all so lovely, so kind with their time, and I would say a highlight for me was being able to have some real conversations, not just getting the photo ops, but just talking to some of the Bravo lebs and, realizing that there are human beings that, are affected by everything. And I think the most important to me was talking with Carl from Summer House and, the fallout from him calling off the wedding with Lindsay Hubbard and, fans thinking he was terrible and all of that, and had a conversation with him just about, we love you, Carl, we support you, and I'm sure it's not easy going through what you're going through publicly. And he just really, really opened up to me and my friend about, how painful it has been to, have his sexuality questioned, have his sobriety questioned, say that he called up producers to film and ambush Lindsay on camera, which he says he did not do, and it's actually not really possible to do. The producers choose when you get to film and not film. So, he said it was even at one point, parts of it were harder than his brother dying, because when his brother died, his brother was dead, and then you accept that and you move forward. But with this situation, he ended the engagement, and then the clock started of just fallout after fallout, story after story. There was some sort of crazy story about he maybe got someone else pregnant. Just really, really hurtful things that he knew wasn't true. And I don't think he has the PR machine that Lindsay does. So he really wasn't able to get his side of the story out there. And I don't think he really wanted to. I think he just, I don't know. So that was a highlight for me, just being able to talk, person to person, human to human, and, share support, especially when they're going through hard times.
All right, so that was Mandy's clip. Mandy was actually on our plane on the way home, so that was very fun. But we'll get there when we get there.
In about
So
4 hours, that's when we get there.
Nope, we're zipping right through. So the party was fun, and then we, got home went to bed at like 1. Then we had to be up, showered, cute, decent by 8:30 because we had to.
Showered. I mean,
cute and decent was relative. Because we had to, because if you were VIP, you could be
in
they
line
opened the
at
door,
9. You'd
9.
be in line early, and they open the doors half an hour early for you.
Yeah. So we ended up going over and getting our spot in line, and then later we saw Megan and Doug coming up, and because even though they left way before us, they got stopped so many times for pictures. So we were in line ahead of them. So we said, "Come on and get in line with us." Nobody cared because they're Megan and Doug. And Megan and Doug, by the way, bought their own VIP wristbands, literally like went on, signed up for photo ops just like everybody else. That, Doug's like, I don't want to be beholden to anyone. So I was like, I would be beholden to anybody if I didn't have to pay $2,000 for this wristband. But what was interesting is we were in that line and it was, one of those roped off things. So it looked like a snake, you go up and down, up and down. And that must mean John's home. The dogs are barking. And when we got snake, 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 and then they opened another part right in front of us. So our whole section of the snake got to go in, and all those other people had probably been standing there 45 minutes, but that's okay. We ran right in. They didn't check our bags or anything. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
We got right to the front row because it was Jeff Lewis interviewing Andy, and of course, Doug and Megan wanted to be in the front for that. And so Ingrid and I put our stuffs down too, as if we were a part of the crew, which we were not. And then anyway, Shane ended up sitting by me, which was shout out Shane. So, but then same
He's
thing.
real cute. He's real cute.
He couldn't be cuter. Couldn't be cuter. And then the same thing with Doug and Megan. People were, of course, just running up to them, trying to take pictures. And then Ingrid's like, this is not organized. People were like, so Ingrid was trying to like tell people like line up. And then Doug was like, I don't want her to do that because I don't want anybody to think
that they have a handler.
Or that we organize this in some way. I don't want anyone to think that we in any way, I was like, nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks you're organizing your own meet and greets. But here was something interesting is that as we were sitting there, Chef Stu walked up and was chatting with Doug and Megan. Shane wasn't there quite yet. He came in at the very last second and spoke for a minute and then walked away. Well, we later find out that Chef Stu's mom had just died like the night before. The day before. And he chose to go to BravoCon.
Well, I'm not going to judge him for that.
I'm not judging him for that. I'm just saying that's information we have since learned on the radio that we did not know at that time.
Right.
It's not my place to judge his relationship with his mother or his
airfare or circumstances or getting out. Have you tried to get on an international flight lately? I mean, my God.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever. I don't really know that. I'm not really on the inner circle of that whole drama. So I just watched from afar, but it seemed to be very buzzy when he showed up.
Very much trying to like keep them apart. Kind of a situation. And then the panel was great. And then when it was over, I will say Chef Stu was just standing there in the hallway, which appeared to me looking for people to see him. So, that was my opinion on that. But anyway, during the panel, I was sitting next to Shane and I was like, hey, Shane, I'm Mary Payne from Pink Shade. He was like, okay. I said, I'm friends with, Doug. He said, okay. And I said, yeah, Brandy and Julie were on my podcast right before they got let go. And he was like, oh, Pink Shade. Okay, girl. And I was like, oh, don't hate me. But that was fun. Of course, right when the panel was over, he jumped up and ran off because he had to go to the back, to be with Jeff. So then Doug and Megan went on their way. I was like, love you guys, and didn't see them for a while.
I'm going to go put my dog somewhere. I'll be right back. You just keep talking.
Okay, sounds good. So then we walked out, and my opinion is that Chef Stu was standing there trying to get people to see him and take pictures with him, which worked because people did. Doug and Megan went off to wherever they were going. Now, we met these two fabulous girls behind us, Nicole and Christina, and they were like, if you guys are leaving, can we take your seats? Because we were front row, they were second row. And we said, sure. What are you staying for? And they said, we're staying for the Vanderpump Rules panel. which was like 3 panels. Like it was like 2.5 hours later. We're like, you're going to sit here? And they're like, no, we're just going to switch off. So I was like, all right, so you guys move up here, take Doug and Megan's seats, and then and they're going to save our seats. So they did. So Nicole and Christina ended up being our friends for the whole weekend, and they saved our seats for the Vanderpump Rules panel. We came back; they were still sitting there, and that was wonderful. I'm talking about Nicole and Christina, our new friends.
Oh my God, they are lovely and they're gorgeous.
Yes, had such a fun time. So we watched the Vanderpump Rules panel with them, and that was wild because at one point Karamo, who was the moderator, was like, Katie, how are you doing over there? Are you and Tom? Are you speaking? And he goes, hey, Katie. And he goes, you look great. And she goes, you look like a couch. Because he had on a shirt that did sort of look like a couch.
Well, I think it was like a blazer shirt thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a solid color probably would have looked better on that stage. Was too busy,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, you know what, you guys, if you have Peacock, you can watch that panel.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment, my daughter saw it, where you can see us in the crowd for like 14 tenths of a second.
We are on the front row for both those panels. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, my daughter sent us that picture, and I was like, oh, that's so funny.
Well, what was interesting about that panel was whenever Sandoval would talk, Ariana was looking to the side or straight ahead, never at him, ever.
Her body language was so interesting to watch, I thought. And I don't know if you can see that on Peacock or what, but oh my God. I mean, she was an open book. No poker face at all on that girl.
Nope.
And she did not care. No, it was really interesting to see that.
And Sandoval, as to not draw attention to himself, was in a leather kilt with a knee sock.
Wasn't it like a jean kilt, like a denim kilt? It doesn't matter. It was a kilt.
Yeah.
And a blazer with no shirt.
And then it appeared that he had a chest and neck tattoo. I kept staring at it. Now, my sister or maybe my niece told me that on one of the interviews they saw in the media room, that one of those they saw that he kind of acted, maybe said they were temporary or something for the outfit or whatever. Mm-hmm. But James Kennedy, being true to himself, did at one point challenge him to a push-up contest. They both took off their shirts and did, I don't know, like 1,000 push-ups. It was crazy. And
and they were good push-ups too. This is someone who I watched.
Yeah, and James is like doing one leg up.
Yeah, it was impressive.
And then Sandoval would do his one leg up. They are both very buff. I guess Sandoval said he hasn't, been drinking for a couple of months or whatever, and that'll make you look better. The James Kennedy story is coming. So we went to the Vanderpump panel after the Jeff panel. In between there was a Jersey Magic Mike style panel where I guess they stripped and threw fake dollar bills with Frank Catania's face into the audience.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't really need that.
So I can't remember what we did then.
Oh, we were talking to Ryan and having
lunch,
charcuterie board.
Yeah,
a charcuterie tray,
charcuterie plastic box.
You guys, I want to talk about the food for a minute. I know a lot of you might be wondering, like, hey, how much was this whole thing? Now, we haven't done the math on all of it, but I'll say this. The food looked rough.
Mm-hmm. That's all I had the whole time was that charcuterie box. I never had a chip or anything after that.
Well, that lady gave us 2 tickets for free food or whatever. And so I cashed them in for 2 bags of Lay's chips, which I ate both of. And I got to tell you, like, they were charging $7 for a bag of chips, just normal Lay's chips.
And you would get in a snack pack, you would get 20 of them for $4.
Yeah, I thought that was ballsy. I was not a fan. The drinks were expensive. Yep. I don't think I bought a drink. I didn't buy a drink the whole time.
I did. Okay.
I just kept refilling my water bottle in the drinking fountain.
Yeah, well, you know what? I take that back. I think I purchased 1 drink on the last day, but I think otherwise I just had the 2 that were free in the Bravo Palooza. So that day, after we hung out and did all that, we found the Bravo Palooza. And so the Bravo Palooza is when you go in, you pay $250 per person plus tip, tax, service charge, whatever, so about $300 a person times 2 for me and Ingrid for 3 times. Okay. You guys, if I talk about while I'm broke, I am broke. I mean, I'm broke. Like I had to borrow money from my husband, broke. So, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I'm going to start a fund right now to start saving for next year. But We went into these BravoPalooza rooms, and they give you 2 free drink tickets, and then you go in and you don't know who's going to be in there. So the first day we had in our room,
I'm going to check our photos.
because that was the first day. Was that James the first day?
I believe so, yes.
Because Heather Gay, and then what was this? And then Margaret was the third day with Mia. That was the third day. So I do believe it was
I think
James Kennedy
well, Reza was in there.
and Reza was in there, but I'm trying to think of
Was
who was back.
Garcelle in there?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
It was
Garcelle.
Garcelle
Garcelle
and
was the big one for us anyway.
yeah, she's so pretty.
So went up to Garcelle and was, in the line, and then took a picture, and she was so nice. And it's going to be in our reel with she and I speaking to each other before we took the picture. I gave her the poker chip that we had made. So the poker chip's really cute. I've already put it on our Instagram, but you can go and look. So it's the front of it is the logo, but with the ring around like a poker chip would have. And then the back was a QR code. And when you scan the QR code, it goes to a webpage, says you got lucky. And then I think it was like a 10% off for Supercast and 10% off the store, or listen to the podcast here.
Listen to the podcast. But you guys, I had them made. They are real poker chips. They're like ceramic.
Yeah.
Real. They feel really good. They're like the right size, the whole
They're
thing.
heavy in your hand. Yeah.
And I've posted like it's maybe the best idea I've ever had in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding. I mean,
Okay.
Giselle was the first one to comment, like the first whatever celebrity to comment on it, but there are more to come.
Yeah, she was like, this was really great. It's a wonderful idea. I was like, oh, yeah, thanks. And she said, this is really good marketing. I said, yeah, but next year everybody's probably do it because they saw what a great idea. We've gotten so much feedback. It's such a good idea. And she goes, but you know what? You came up with first, and you're a boss, and I can't remember what else she said.
You
Ingrid.
are a strong entrepreneur. And
yes.
And everyone's going to know that you did it first.
Yeah. She said, you should be so proud of yourself. I was like, oh my gosh, are we in love? Like, she's just so nice,
effusive and glowing.
And she didn't have to do that because there were
no
20 people behind me, and she had talked to 30 people before that, not to mention the actual photo ops they have to do, that they have to go stand on a stage and have for an hour and a half people just come up to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was the only one she had spoken to all weekend. But anyway, she was super, 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 super nice. I give her a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got in line with our new friends, the guys that were from Belgium.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so one is from Spain, and I think one is from London, but they live in Belgium. And so that's where they came from, Belgium. And they were great. They made a whole trip out of it. I believe they were going to be in town for a couple of weeks. They did LA. They were, doing some other things. I was like, I hope you didn't just come to this and think this is America.
Right.
But they were familiar. He said he'd been to DC quite a bit and all that. So he knows that there are other towns, not Las Vegas. So they were great. So they were standing there with me, and so James Kennedy was doing, the photo thing, but in this room, guys, it's sort of mix and mingle. So people do kind of line up to get a picture, but it's very sort of cash. Like I kind of leaned in and got a picture with Angie K's husband, kind of lean in and get a picture with Margaret's husband, or me and Brooks Marks, just sort of like or Reza, like the ancillary people weren't having lineups. You could just go up, So James had a lineup, but it wasn't like a huge, Lala was in that room too, but she went and sat down and was like, no more. So that wasn't fun, but
that was
whatever.
Weird. Mm-hmm.
That was weird. So I went up to James because everybody was doing this, take a picture. And then people were like, he was like FaceTime with people's moms, or doing like, hey, so-and-so, like doing videos, right? Like cameos or whatever for people.
Yeah,
but just
he really was doing it. He was doing it for everybody. Yeah.
So I walked up.
Notice. Yeah.
So I walked up and I was like, get a picture. Yeah. And I was like, hey, listen, would you just do a quick video for my listeners? And he goes, listeners of what? And I said, for my podcast. You could just say like, hey, monkeys. He's like, I'll do the thing that says, hey, monkeys. But I go, no, it's not monkeys. It's bunkies with a B. And then he was rubbing his lip, which was real. I was like, are we promoting lip gloss? What are we doing? Because he's rubbing his lip. And I was staring at him like, is this a signal? Like, what are we doing here? And he goes, I don't think I'm going to do your podcast because podcasts give me the ick. And then I just stared at him like, are we joking right now? Because he's done this for everyone. Mm-hmm. And he goes, so I think I haven't said no all day, so I'm going to say no to you. I mean, if you want me to like shout out your business or something, I will. Like I said, that is my business. I'm a small business owner. And he goes, no, next person, and turned his back to me. So
You guys, I missed all this because I was just sitting on a couch.
you were talking to the guy from Summer House Martha's
Yeah,
Vineyard.
I was, and I didn't know. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah. So I go, wow, okay. And then I just sort of walked away because what else am I supposed to do, right? And the girls behind me were like, wow, oh my God, wow. And the Belgian guys were like, oh my gosh. And they just sort of looked around. So then as I was walking off, he goes, I mean, I'll do like a shout out to your mother or your sister or something. And I was like, that's okay. And I just kept walking. I was like, that my mother and my sister don't know who you are. So I started to walk off. So then I ended up seeing our Belgian friends again, and I was telling them, and they're like, no way, my God, he was doing videos for everyone. I was like, not for me, because the podcasts are gross, whatever. And they were like, well, joke's on him, because now you can tell all your listeners. So I was like, that's right.
Well, joke's on him, because someday he's going to have a goddamn podcast.
Just like Jax did when I met him in 2019, and he goes, let me know when anybody makes any money from a podcast. I was like, have you heard of Stassi? She makes pretty good living off her podcast. Anyway, guess who started a podcast during Scandal? Jax. So anyway, that was my James Kennedy story. Shout out James Kennedy. You're a dick, and you're not the number one guy in the group. So I don't know.
That was the same day we met Up and Adam.
Yes.
Not in the BravoPalooza, but he was so nice, and he was just so cute and nice, and
Guys,
handsome guy. Just really, just like you can't look away, kind of.
Yes, so good looking. So Up and Adam we met, and then Emily D. Baker, who I've interviewed once or twice, maybe once. And of course she's wonderful, and of course she, knows me in the sense that we've talked before. I've interviewed her, so she was like, "Absolutely, I'd love to come back on, but please do not just take my word for it. You got to email the person whoever you emailed last time for it, because I'm terrible with just telling people I'll do it, and then I mess up my own schedule." I was like, I get it. So she was great. We saw her another time. We saw her another time as well at Bravo Producer in the hall, and she's exactly nice and wonderful like you'd like her to be. Sarah Golly of Andy's Girls was also in that first VIP roped off area that we were like, this is the VIP. This sucks. It wasn't. We found the big one later. So next year we know to look for that other one right away. So, okay, so that was the BravoPalooza. And then that day
we had a photo op with Marge and Jen Fessler.
That was at 3:15, where we again saw our friends Christina and Nicole. We told them the story about James Kennedy, and they had a story to share for us later about James Kennedy being rude at a restaurant when somebody had gone to his table where he was with his mom and Allie, and he was like being kind of rude, but Allie and the mom were being nice. And then right when the fan walked off, she said they didn't overstay, they just got their picture and walked off like normal. Right when they walked off, he yelled out, "This is not a meet and greet!" Yeah.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, he's a joy. The stories we got about Shep were also pretty epic. So let's see.
The photo op was great. Marge.
Did we go home after that?
Marge looks amazing. I just wanted to say that. She had a green outfit on. It was so great. I think we kind of wrapped up and went back at that point because that was a long day. Felt very long. Because then we had to get ready because we had John Hill's show that night, and we missed the meet and greet because it was at like 6:15.
He wanted us there.
The we missed it because you guys. And we had to go down to this place called Fremont Street. And I've never been down there, but it's kind of like old-timey, not old-timey. Like,
it's where the Gold Nugget is.
Yeah, but it's sort of like what you picture Vegas like in maybe the 70s or something like that. But
this is what I picture Vegas from the Marcelino and Brittany looking for her mom when she was on crack, because they were looking for her on Fremont Street and she was a crackhead.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where we came up with the term Kung Fu crackhead.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't for me.
It was not for me either. We did a live down there. Oh, Lord in heaven. Anyway.
The best part of that was you dancing behind me like Michael Jackson moonwalk style. That was
Anyway, we really enjoyed John's show. It was
so talented.
He is so talented. I mean, he is a real, he was on Broadway but he is a songwriter. And I can't get over how good he is. He is fantastic. Plus, he looks great on stage. He is a hottie. He is just fabulous. And he brought his dog who sat on the piano, and I was thinking about my dog who would never sit on a piano for
No.
an hour while I did a show.
Mm-mm. He puts a little blanket down, and Pete just lays down on the blanket, and he plays the piano and does his songs. He did a wonderful country song that was. All his songs are very.
Unexpected and fabulous.
All his songs are very racy. Let's just say that. So if you're easily offended and clutch your pearls, don't go see it. But he's just so
But I
gorgeous
think
and
he
fun
does
and
it. I think
talented.
he does it once a month in New York.
He
Like he
does it.
does a show, and he's doing one in LA, I think, in a couple weeks or something. But I will most definitely be going back to that.
Me too.
I
Me
thought
too.
he was a little rushed too because he had to get back to actual BravoCon
Yeah.
for the evening thing, so he
And then
couldn't.
he said that when he got there, he couldn't get in because of his dog. So he
Oh,
ended up.
oh my
No,
god!
he ended up sitting in the production van, which is his old stomping grounds because he used to be a producer on Watch What Happens Live. So he
I
ended
did
up
not
sitting in
know
yeah,
that. Oh, poor Pete. Well,
yeah,
listen, if you get a chance, go see this guy's show. He just was a scream. He was a
yeah.
scream. I loved it.
So that was Friday night, and that was great. And that was sort of a last minute add on thing. We kind of weren't planning to do it, but then I was like, I love John. I'd like to go see him, so we did. Um, I don't know if he sent me his voice note, so I don't know if we could drop it in here, but I'll take a quick look.
Okay.
Oh God, that girl. Okay, hold on. Let's see if he sent it.
I mean,
Um,
my sister and my sister's a tough customer. And she was crying, laughing,
Yeah.
crying. It was just, I couldn't get enough of it. I just thought it was hysterical.
It could
So
have gone
anyway,
on forever. Yeah. So that's John. So
so
all
anyway,
right.
then after that, we went to eat dinner at Martha Stewart's restaurant in the Paris hotel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I wanted, you guys, was this giant baked potato the size of a football. And that's
Yeah.
what I got for dinner. And it
Me too.
was spectacular.
I got a salad and a baked potato because they bring it and then they slice it up at the table and then they mix all the stuff right in there for you and like a double smashed potato and hand it to you. It was great. I had a white Cosmo there. It was delish. It was delish. I had a lot of Cosmos. That might have been the best one.
It was pretty.
But I will say, I never had a hangover.
No.
And I said it on the Patreon. I think my trick was because I took my 3 flyby pills before I went out. You get them on Amazon. 3 when I got home. Whether I felt like I had a buzz or not, I still took them. Whether I felt like I was going to have 1 drink or 20, I still took them and put on those hangover patches. I put 2 on every day. Because I was like, I can't be hungover. I can't be because if I get hungover, I can't get out of bed. I'm like worthless. Took a couple of Advil, before I went out. When I got home, a Pepto for the tummy was great. Up and at 'em, ready to go every day. So then on Saturday, we decided we were going to skip our morning photo op, which was Marisol. And some people said Marisol wasn't
People
very nice.
said she
in the
was
photo
like,
ops.
yeah, she didn't want to be there and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
So we missed it. So that's because I was like, we're so tired. We got to be able to sleep, right? Because we got in late that night too. So we slept in, went over to BravoCon a little bit later, like more around noon on Saturday. And
We took
what did we
advantage
do?
of the photo ops that day. So we'll post some of those. The photo op that they had set up, like the van and
we
all
did
that.
the van. We did the
You did
Vanderpump
you did
flinging of the glasses.
yeah, you did the tub.
I did the bathtub where I got in with like Meredith Marks. We did the thing where you stand and you act silly and they do a camera around you in a circle. That was fun. We went around to some booths. Never bought anything.
Mm-mm.
I did buy a Luann shirt. It says "Be cool, don't be all uncool."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think. So then we went over to our Bravo Palooza. Again, we got in line a little bit earlier. We learned our lesson every day. Got in line a little bit earlier. And that day was when we had Sonia Morgan. Then up front came Heather and Angie. And Meredith was up there too on one big step and repeat. So it was chaos. That's when it was people were pushing, and I was in line in front of you, and I'm trying to get to Sonia. I'm trying to get to
it
Meredith.
started to get
It was
crazy.
too many people, and they what they need to have next year. And I'm going to let Brandon know this. My friend that works at NBC Universal, Brandon Alvarado. For those of you who've been listening for a long time, he was like, "Give me your notes." I was like, "Here are my notes." Like you need in those. First of all, those Bravo Paloozas need to be 10 people smaller.
Maybe
10 people
20,
smaller,
maybe 20. Because
It's
here's
too
why.
packed.
I don't think they considered that the talent, I use that word very loosely, would have, a husband with them and maybe a handler And they all had a talent person from NBC Universal or
Mhm.
whatever company they hired. But so for every Bravo person, there were probably like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And then you've got all of us in the room. It was just too many people in the room.
It was too many people in the room. And when you have one major person up there, it's sort of easy to see that this is the line. But when you have 4 major housewives up there, then it becomes a crush. And then people are getting angry. So I went out to the security, like the Karen that I am, and was like, hey, you guys need more than one security person. There are 4 big, celebs in here, and you need to have 4 lines. And this is ridiculous. You have one security person, so they sent 2 more people, and then it got under control. And the next day, I had to do the same thing. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. So that was fun. We got to meet Sonia. All these people we were giving fans to, by the way, the little handheld fans that they
Sonia was
loved.
so nice. She was just like on TV.
She's like, "What? It's a fan? Oh, girl, you don't get hot all the time. Yeah, yeah."
And
She
she
was
was
great.
beautiful, and like
Mhm.
her boobs were kind of spilling out of her bra. I mean, it was perfect. The whole thing
Yep.
was just perfect. I loved it.
And that's when we
Loved
got a
her.
picture with Heather and Angie, and it's a picture of Angie's husband whipped out his ring light so fast. You've never seen somebody whip out a ring light so fast.
I got a picture with a dachshund from Married to Medicine. It's
Yeah,
maybe the best picture anybody's ever taken of me. I should post
yeah.
that.
Um, Yeah, the one Married to Medicine girl I recognize, but I couldn't remember her name, so I didn't want to go up to her, but I did take a picture of her, like a total stalker. So that was in Bravo Palooza day 2. And then after that was when
Wait.
we
That was
found,
also wait. That was also um, Brooks Marks and the Fan and
oh, yes.
Meredith Marks
Mhm.
and
So Meredith
also
did,
yeah.
she tried to pull a Lala. She tried to leave the stage area and go kind of hang out by the bar and not take pictures, which is what Lala did. But I happened to be at the bar when she walked up, and Brooks handed her a little slider because, like I said, they had the past apps. So she was kind of stuffing it in, and I was waiting for her to get done with her bite because I was going to ask for a picture, but I was obviously not going to do it mid chew. So I waited for her to finish the little burger, and Brooks is standing there, and she was eating, and I looked at him and I said, I want to ask for a picture when she's done eating. And he kind of nodded. So I walked over to him and I handed him the fan and I was showing it to him. Of course, it didn't work because I hadn't charged it, but most of them did work when you pulled them out of the box. So he looked at it and he was like, this is a great idea. Like, this is really great. It's really nice. He's just no inflection. I was like, do you like it? And I go, we take a picture of all. So we held it up so I could take a picture with him. Then he told his mom, he's like, look at this. It's like a fan. And I showed her the poker chip. She was super impressed. I talked to her for, I don't know, like 6
A
to 7
while.
minutes.
It
And
was a
then
while because I was
and then
kind of like, mm,
Ingrid's like, oh, people are figuring out what you're doing. So then they were
yeah.
lined up. But I said to her, I go, this is a little crazy here. It's like too many people in this room. And she goes, well, you have to think about it because it's 7 to 8 Bravo lebs in here with however many people you are. So you got to figure out what's the ratio. So maybe it is the right amount of people. I said, but not everybody wants to talk to the lesser known Bravo lebs. Then they want to talk to the housewives. She's like, maybe that's true. I don't know, but I was just trying to get a burger. So she was nice. I know some other people had different interactions with her. My personal interaction with her and Brooks was 10 out of 10, just like Garcelle.
Yeah, and she looked so good.
Yep, she
That
had on a
Chanel suit was
pink
really
blazer suit. Yep,
it
yep,
was really,
everything.
really good. Yeah.
You gotta go blazer. You gotta be on brand.
Mhm.
So then we left there, and that's when we discovered the Hilton VIP lounge that we had not
No,
known
we
before.
found that on Friday.
We did?
Yes. Yes, we
I thought we
found it
didn't
on
find it
Friday.
till Saturday.
Uh-uh. We found it on Friday.
Well, once we figured that out, because that's they were also doing the same as Bravo Palooza, where celebrities were just coming in and out, but you didn't have any idea. And we had Larsa and Marcus on that first day, and then later there were some Summer House people, and then we had Dolores, and then in the back, out of the blue, was Ariana and Katie. So Ingrid went and got in that line. I was talking to Doug and Megan at a table, and you tell the story about what
I
happened with the line.
I'm not a person who really stands in line for pictures, okay? Like you'll notice there's a lot of great pictures of Mary Payne with the celebs and the whoever, but I'm not really that gal, okay? And I don't know why. I'm not. But Ariana, I kind of wanted because she's a little bit of an icon. I think she's going to win Dancing with the Stars. Plus she just looked so cute. And you guys on that panel, and I know we were in the front row, but we were still a little ways away. When she smiles, her eyes actually sparkle. Like, when people say that about people,
Yeah.
she's got such a great smile and her eyes are with it too. Like, some people smile and their eyes are dead. And I can't remember who I said that about. I was like, that girl over there with the dead eyes. I didn't know who she
I
was.
do remember you when you said
Anyway,
that. Oh,
I was walking and I got in the line
it was
and
Psy. It was
it,
Psy.
it was
You
Sai.
said
And
Psy. Yeah.
dead eyes. And I got like, I was like the next person in line and then they needed to leave. And I was so sad. But then I thought, wait a minute. I see all these people. They're going to do selfies. So I got a selfie. And I got a selfie with Katie, but it's really blurry. And then I got one with Ariana, and we both, I think, look pretty good. And she was such a sweetheart. And I said, my daughter just loves you. She says that you're amazing. And of course, I think she's pretty great too. But she was just so gracious and nice. But I was glad I got that shot. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
And
and
Katie too.
yeah, Katie too. Oh, she looked great. Her
Yeah.
hair looks great. Everything looks great about her. But that's also where we ran into Christian Gray Snow, who I
For the
love on
first time.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And just all kinds of interesting people in there. Just,
We did.
just interesting. And you could get free hot tea, which was great because it was freezing
Oh,
in that Caesars.
I needed it for my voice. I was happy to have it. I was like, hot tea.
Yeah.
By day 3, though, it was slim pickings on the hot tea. It was
Yeah.
going downhill. So then we did that, and then we
walked around the bazaar
we did.
and we saw your pal from that show.
Yeah, that makes it real specific.
That cute guy with no shirt underneath his vest.
Oh my God, Brian Benny.
Yeah, that guy.
Brian Benny from Family Karma. Yes. Loved. He was, like I've said on the Supercast and Patreon, he was wearing like a suit, but minus the shirt and the jacket. So he just had the vest and the pants. And then his brother showed us his Rolex, his Christian Dior sneakers, and then showed us Brian's Christian Louboutin shoes, all in the span of like a minute. We were like, well, if you're trying to impress us, it's kind of douchey, but it worked.
Yeah. They were
Anyway,
very sweet. I mean, like very.
Brian, I told him, I was
easy.
like, we covered your show every single episode. We love it so much. We're huge fans. I've interviewed Amra and Nicholas, dying. We needed to come back. We're always talking about it. He's like, yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Give me a hug. I'd love to come on your show. I was like, great. It's another one I need to write down. Brian Benny.
That's right.
Um,
So wait, at some point you did gamble, didn't you?
So when Doug and I went to lunch, he told me that whenever you're in Vegas, you have to go to the Wheel of Fortune slot machine. And I was like, what about this one? No, it has to be Wheel of Fortune. He asked somebody. We eventually found one. We each put in $20, lost $20, and that was it. That's the only gambling I did.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to, if you
Talk about gambling.
if you wanted to gamble outside of Vegas, you could do that.
You could use DraftKings.
Yes, you could.
Step into a world of nonstop action on DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, my favorite. Plus, enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers can get a deposit match of up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer, make your deposit, and start playing from a full suite of games. Your way is the only way to play on DraftKings Casino. Play online, on your time, in your space, and within your means. It's safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you're ready. Download the DraftKings Casino app now. Sign up with promo code PINKSHADE, that's all one word, PINKSHADE, and new customers get a deposit match up to $100 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. Only on DraftKings Casino with promo code PINKSHADE. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. 21 and over. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opted-in new customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Max match $100 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms in casino.draftkings.com/playerschoice. Restrictions apply. Okay. Anyway, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about after we did okay, after we saw Brian Benny, and then we walked around and we're like, there's this person. And that's when we kept seeing Kevin in Erica Jane's booth. Hey, Kevin, still here, huh? Then I think that we left after that because we had Saturday night. We had dinner plans.
Well, we did a bunch of photo ops on Saturday, too. Remember we did like the table flip and the Sir Alley and all that stuff?
Yes, because people were gone by that time.
Yeah,
'cause
it was
getting
real
like five. It
empty.
was getting to be like 5:00. Yeah.
Yeah, and I shook the shaker behind the bar of Watch What Happens Live and all that silly little photo ops, but they are kind of fun.
They're fun.
And then that night we had dinner at the Delmonico Steakhouse at the Paris, and then we had Heather McDonald's
That's right.
live show.
That's right. That's right. Now, I was texting a lot with Brandy and Julie, mostly Brandy. Julie doesn't text too much, about meeting up, but it never happened. And I think that they ended up ghosting Heather and Jax and us all on the same night. They ended up just like going back to their room. So that was fun for me. It was
But the
fun.
show was really, really quite entertaining. And the theater was great. The theater
was
space.
amazing.
Yeah.
The theater was amazing. If there was any night I was going to be overserved, it was that night. But alas, I was fine.
Yeah, I really
I
didn't.
don't know how. I don't know how because I was
Well-
having those Cosmos like they were water, but I was fine. I'm telling you, I think it's because of those products that
Well, I didn't use any of the products that you so generously shared, but I just
you
didn't.
didn't drink as much as I did.
I just really didn't drink much at all. It was like I don't know where I am. I'm not like as comfortable in this town. I don't know how to get home. It's a big maze and whatever. So I kind of just felt like I need to keep my head on straight a little bit. Plus it's really expensive to drink in that town. So whatever.
Yeah.
That aside, we did run into Melissa Rivers and Dax Holt in the lobby of Heather's show. And there's something about Melissa Rivers that I always sort of just enjoy. And so I asked if we could get a picture. Plus my sister listens to Dax Holt's podcast like religiously. So we're in a picture with them. And Melissa Rivers, you guys, also commented on the poker chip.
Yeah.
She called me a genius. And I
Mhm.
thought that was so great. And she actually looks really great in person. That's all.
But I meant to also say that when we met Margaret on day one at our photo op,
Yeah,
we gave her a fan. She loved it, and she loved the poker chip too.
Gushed. Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so after that, we went back to the hotel, and the three of us tried to go and have a drink, and then they sent us over to a place that was like the club, and we're like, no. Came back over, like, we're sitting in this area, make it work. So we finally found a kind of a quiet spot. Everything, again, constantly catching emphysema right and left. I've never
because
been
you
around
can
so much
smoke inside the casinos.
Oh, God.
I
It's
mean,
too much.
I don't know if I even knew that before. Like I don't know if I'd ever internalized that fact, but holy cow.
They have such a filtration system in there that obviously it would be, you would be walking through a cloud if they didn't
you
have that
didn't,
filtration
yeah.
system, because it doesn't necessarily hit you like a smell of smoke when you walk in. It's as you're walking through it and the smoke is coming over to you. So it must be sucked up through the ceiling somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, by the way, I misspoke. Delmonico's at the Venetian.
That's where we were.
And
the
Heather's
Venetian.
show was at the Venetian. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that. Anyway, yada yada yada. We did finally have a drink and then
Went to bed.
called it. And it was probably about 1:30.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
sister had to leave for the airport at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was daylight saving, so that helped at least an hour, but I
Yeah.
don't know how she did that.
Yeah. The time change was brutal. So, okay, so then before we get to Sunday, let's insert our friend Ronnie's clip here, because
Oh,
I told Ronnie to leave a long clip, and he brought me back and was like, I left the longest clip. I'm so sorry. I just talked so much. I go, your clip was 46 seconds. And he's like, LOL. So let's hear from Ronnie from Watch What Crappens.
Hey, it's Ronnie from Watch What Crappens. BravoCon was exhaustingly exhilarating. And my favorite part was seeing all the Bravo celebrities come out in their underwear to work, because I've been doing that for years. And I feel like I've finally started a trend. I just thank you, everybody, for making me feel so seen, especially you, Paige DeSorbo. Love the panties. I did need some boxer briefs, but I think Ryan Bailey took care of that later in an image. And also meeting so many wonderful Bravo podcasters, obviously, and hanging out with peers. It's like a big, crazy office party.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that super long clip from Ronnie. Like I said, John Hill's supposed to be sending me one. If we get it before the end of this, we'll insert it. Otherwise, we'll do it later. He's busy. He has a show.
Mhm.
So now we get to Sunday. So Sunday we went over there. I mean, we didn't go over to like noon. Both of us were. You were working. I was working.
Yeah, I was working. I was trying to get those
and
episodes out for Monday and Tuesday that our bunkies did for us, which is great.
yes, thank the Lord for them.
Mhm.
So we walked over on Sunday. Leah was gone. That was sad.
Mhm.
And I think that's where we did the Sprinter van. We did like, oh, these things are open, right? And there's nobody here. Sunday, if you ever want to buy just like general admission for one day just to see everything, Sunday's the day to do it because it's
Mhm.
really pretty empty by then. I
Yeah.
don't think the panels and stuff are as good on Sunday because people leave, but it's still a full day and a full night.
And I heard that the Bravo Palooza on Sunday at 4 was solid. Like
Really.
Kyle, like yeah. Like
Well,
there were
here's
high
the thing.
profile people in there.
Because the Bravo Palooza gives you the 2 free drink tickets, next year if we do it, I would do it later in the day.
Mhm.
Because having 2 free drinks at 2 is fine, but it does sort of slow you down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I understand it's not required drinking. You don't have to do it.
But the
Then-
spicy margarita was really good. I had one of those.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
So Sunday we go over and we go to the VIP, whatever. We see, I think that's when we saw Vicky coming out.
Yeah, we did.
And we
Yep,
went
we did.
to our Bravo Palooza where we saw Margaret
saw-
again.
We saw Margaret. She remembered us.
She remembered us. Her PR person is Anthony, who I'm friends with. And that's when I was texting Anthony, where are you? He was walking around with Amrit, trying to find them. Never did, but did see Amrit in the airport, but too far away to go and say hi.
We also saw in that moment, we saw Gina from the
Mhm.
OC,
yes,
which was interesting. I mean, she was on brand with her outfit.
yeah,
I think you'll
and
see this
Mia,
picture.
and Mia,
Mia,
also.
oh my God.
She wants a pink shade T-shirt. She loved the chips. She loved the fan. She held it up. She posed for a picture. Everything. Mia was great.
Oh my gosh, you guys, and just stunning in real life. Like
Just so tall.
just so tall, statuesque, like unbelievable, and great outfit. Great
Yeah.
outfit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Here's
really
somebody would not have been on my bucket list as somebody I thought I would have loved, which was Mia, but she was great.
Mm-hmm.
She was
Really, really
great.
lovely.
Like,
Mhm.
keep her on TV. She was great.
Yeah.
So we chatted with Margaret quite a bit in there. That was wonderful. And then we went to the VIP lounge where there was some shit going down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'll tell about it is in an overview.
Yeah, let's just keep it high level, okay?
Okay, let's keep that high level.
Well,
what
I'll
happened-
say this: the VIP room was slightly emptier that
Oh, yeah.
day.
Mhm.
There were like you could sit. It was sort of like reunion couches, and you
Yeah.
could sit and just hang out, and that was really nice. So that's what I did because I was tired. But
Well, I had been
Got
texting
to-
again.
I
with-
just got to say I got to meet Brandy and Julie, and I had never met them before.
Yeah,
And
they're exactly who
particularly-
you thought they would be.
yes,
right?
particularly Julie though. That was a fangirl. I got a picture of that because I'm kind of a fangirl. I think she's brilliant and hilarious. And,
Yeah.
So that was exciting. So
So
anyway.
I had been texting with them, and they were like, "We're coming over there, but we don't have wristbands, so we're just going to come in." And I'm like, "No, you're not. You can't just come in without a wristband." They're like, "We'll figure it out." I was like, "Good luck." So somehow they did. Heather McDonald ended up getting them a couple of wristbands. So we were hanging out with them quite a bit, and then Heather came over to me and was like, "Oh my gosh, like I didn't realize you were over here." And then she was like, "I don't understand. Like you were at my show last night. Why didn't you tell me? You could have just come back and been in the green room and everything." I was like, "I'm not going to bug you like that, but
Yeah.
it's good to know for next time."
She was
Um,
great. And I got
she
to
was
meet
actually
her
great.
sister, and I talked to her sister for an hour, the lawyer who she sometimes has on her Patreon. And
Yeah,
so
Shannon.
fascinating. Talked to Drake, the son, all about like how they do their
College
YouTube and
yeah.
college and roommates and all that. It was just like finally I could have an actual conversation with people. I really like that because these like 2-second conversations when you're in a line. Mary Payne's really good at that. Like she's really on the pitch. She's really good. Really
Hmm.
gets it out. But me, I'm kind of like, tell me about where you grew up. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can't
the
do that.
right. I'm a
You got to
long
be
form.
fast.
I'm a
Yeah.
long form journalist. She's definitely a broadcaster. You know, that's how we roll.
Yeah. So hung out with Brandy and Julie for a bit. Heather came over. I wasn't going to go because a couple times I said her name. She didn't, I was like, well, I'm not gonna bug her, right?
Well, she was in discussion with fans, and I mean,
Oh,
tons of
and of course,
fans.
yeah. Same with same with Doug and Megan. Same with
Hmm.
Brandy and Julie. People are just constantly running up to them, and so um, anyway, she came up and we chatted for a bit. And she's, oh, I can't believe you're at my show. You didn't tell me, all this. We talked about what happened at her show. By now, all of you have probably heard about that. She posted some receipts about the earrings that are in question on the Jeff Lewis live show and all that. If you want to get into all that, you can listen to her podcast, her Patreon, her whatever, and also you can
And
listen to
Jeff and
Jeff's version and all that. Okay. Um, as you guys know, I'm Switzerland. I'm good friends with Doug. I'm friends with Brandy and Julie. I, love Heather as a podcaster and what she's done for podcasting. I would, you can't take that away from her. She's always the number one, comedy
hmm
podcast. So, you can certainly not like Jeff. You can certainly not like Brandy and Julie. You can certainly not like Heather. Or you could be fans of all of them like I am. But there's a girl that runs this fan account for Jeff, and so she came up to Brandy and Julie, and they all had a conversation. I have spoken to Brandy today, but not about that, so I don't know what was said. Um, and then she approached Heather, and from where I was standing with Heather, Heather was saying, "I hope that girl does not come and talk to me, like, because she's heard some things that she said about her." Anyway, Heather apparently felt very strong about that. And she did approach Heather. And Heather said, "You have something to say to me. Why are you coming over here?" And she said, "I'd like to talk to you." And it was sort of pull away, kind of housewife style. It was kind of silly. And
like, hi, we're at this lovely party, but I'd
yeah,
really like to have a major conversation with you over here.
knowing that
And it's
I've
like,
talked a
oh,
lot of shit about you and knowing everybody in there is drinking a lot. And it wasn't going to be good. Ingrid and I said to Shannon, who we're now, BFFs with, we're like, you need to go over and pull her away. Like, this is not going to be good because Heather is like getting mad at her, and this is going to be
you
all
know,
over social media now.
you know what Heather needed in that moment was an Ingrid.
She needed an Ingrid to pull her away. And her sister was over there talking to you about, true crime or
College, and
whatever.
I know college and Big Ten schools. But
Um,
you guys, here's the thing. I don't want to really give this much more oxygen, partly because I find it very boring and kind of juvenile. If somebody approaches you at a party, housewife style, and says, "Hey, can I just talk to you over here for a second?" You have the right to say
I don't think that's
no.
a good idea.
No, well, I'm not going
I
to
don't
share
think it's a
my
good idea. Yeah.
right. No. No is a complete sentence.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And that's just the way you can do it.
Anyway,
Like,
we walked out of there, with Heather and her sister and her son, and later, and everybody had to go at that point. That they were telling us
yeah.
to leave.
I will say
It's a
she and her sister looked really beautiful.
oh
Heather
yeah,
and her sister. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure they always do, but like they looked really pretty and they didn't look like
like
tired
us,
from the show. I mean,
we looked like bedraggled for 3 days.
oh
Is
my
what we looked
God.
like.
And she
Yeah,
had that show the night before and I just was like, God, how are you even standing up? These are some people who know what they're doing. I mean, the people with the talent,
yes,
they know how
yes.
to do it. So,
So we left, and we then that night that was Sunday night. We had tickets to the show that's going to be on Wednesday, November 8th. So you could find it on Peacock. It was called the Reading Room.
yeah,
Yeah,
Andy's reading room.
Andy's Reading Room. So there was 19 ladies on stage. First of all, we had second row seats. Now, I can't remember when I bought those seats if I got to pick our seats or if those were given, but I do believe I got to pick those seats, but they were perfect.
Yep.
They were great. So when you see the show and the people are on the if you see the people asking questions on the mic, if they show the after show, we were directly, like, we could have just grabbed their asses, like we were right there. And I think that they had the cameras on us quite a bit.
I
So
don't know. I mean,
on the crowd, not on
yeah,
us, because we're
yeah,
so
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
I mean, so we had Ingrid and I had a romantic dinner at the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris beforehand, where we did a Lady in the Tramp style drinking of a Cosmo together.
Yes.
because that's what was happening. We decided we weren't sick of each other at that point, which was, it's nice to have a friend you could travel with and not want to kill them after the 6th day.
That's right. I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, I can only speak for myself. I didn't want to kill you. I don't know if you want us to kill me.
No, it was great. I thought it was actually great, and it was a tough vacation. Well, I'm not even gonna call it a vacation. It wasn't.
No, we never saw the pool.
It was tough because
Never
we
saw the
didn't.
pool.
We didn't go to the pool. We didn't like lay around. We didn't get a
Go get
massage. It wasn't like
massages,
a girls'
nothing.
weekend thing. It was definitely like we're working. You
I mean,
know,
if I was in my room, I wasn't sitting in my bed watching Housewives.
no.
I was working. I mean, I was
Housewives
asleep
were-
or I was working.
Housewives are on while I was working, but whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But anyway, okay. So anyway, that was a lovely and delicious
really nice.
dinner.
It was gorgeous. It was delicious.
Mhm.
Delicious dinner. Highly recommend that place. And then we went over to the Paris casino, where it was the Paris Theater inside the Paris, which was near the Bedford where we went to the Martha Stewart place. So that was really fun. And they had 19 housewives on stage, which we decided if we were doing it, we would have made it 10. Because
Mhm.
19 was too many. People didn't get
Well,
their due. They didn't get to
People
they-
like Reza were up there, which I still don't really understand.
Yeah, he can throw some shade and all
Oh, he's
that.
great, but it's like he's not on a show.
But like
right now.
Psy didn't need to be there. There were lots of people that just like Larsa Pippen did not need to be there.
No.
I mean, there were people there that just were there. Were like, you understand why an Erica there or a Kenya is there,
Yeah.
you know, or Ashley Darby or Phaedra. These make sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These make sense. Sheree was there. These things make sense, but the rest of it, we didn't need it. But anyway, that will also be on my notes to Brandon. But it was very fun, and the after show went long, and it was great to see Andy. He looked amazing. All
He
his
really did.
not drinking for 2 months and everything that he did beforehand really paid off. He looked great. The crowd was fun. We saw Brandy and Julie and Heather walk in. At that point, I was like, I'm going to kill Brandy and Julie. They're not writing me back, but they were in a drunken haze at that point. So we did that. As we walked out of the casino, of the theater to go through the casino to get smoke blown on us some more. We immediately saw Christian Grey Snow and Mandy. We're like, hey, what's up? And that was fun. And Mandy was with John Blizzard on my Patreon and Supercast. I couldn't remember. I was like, his name is like Palm Tree. I could not remember his last name.
Oh my God.
His name is the name of something that's a word that's not a last name. John Blizzard of the Juicy Lucy Apple Juicy Vanderpump scandal. He works at Vanderpump Dogs.
Right.
He's the one that went over to Lisa Vanderpump's and was like, she returned the dog. Let me look at your text in 400 font. Anyway, so he was there. Mandy's like, I don't know how I hooked up with him. He's so nice. It was hilarious. So that's that, guys. That is that. And I think that we should do our toast moment.
Yeah. Can I make a nomination for the
Yeah.
toast moment?
Yeah.
I know we're supposed to maybe focus on housewives, but I would actually like to nominate Amy Phillips for the toast moment. And here's why.
Great
She
call.
did her show. We neglected to say this. We saw her on the first night. She did her show 3 nights in Vegas. 3 nights. And it sold out. And it started at 9 p.m. And that is a long day. That's a long day. And she killed it. And she looked great. And she was so nice to everybody. I would be exhausted after that. And she was just at it and doing it and happy. And I would like to nominate Amy Phillips for her toast moment.
The toast moment is sponsored by 21 Seeds Infused Tequila. And we say, Amy Phillips, we raise our toast to you for being the hardest working woman in show business. Are we raising our
We're
raising
raising our cups of water. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The Toast Moment is brought to you by 21 Seeds Infused Tequila. 21 Seeds Infused Blanco Tequila, 35% alcohol by volume, imported by Diageo, New York, New York. Please do not forward or share with anyone under 21, and please drink responsibly.
Hey, you know what? Amy has
what?
sent us a voice note. So I'm going to pop that in there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pop
All
it
right.
in right here.
All
And
right.
I haven't listened to it yet. So,
That's right. She did.
So I will be surprised along with you guys.
Well, Mary Payne, I had so much fun at BravoCon. I was very much on the peripheral, if you will, most of the time because of my CabarAmy show. But I had such a blast planning our after party together and just seeing the fruits of our labor come all together on Thursday night was so fun. And then meeting everybody who showed up, that was so great. And I just loved doing that collab with you. And 21 Seeds Tequila. BravoCon was so much fun on Saturdays when I went. So I was there for half the day. Didn't really get a ton of time there. But I got to see Shannon at her booth in the BravoCon. And I was really interested to hear about her statement, which she was saying at each panel and also at the blue carpet, about how she's been, removing toxic this and toxic that from her environment. And so that was interesting to see. Obviously, the highlights are what we all know. My God, Captain Jason and Lala flirting, Captain Jason and Ashley flirting, the booing of Tom Sandoval, the Sheena being in Sandoval's room for the after party seemed to cause a lot of stir. And, of course, the Jersey panel with what happened between Jennifer Aiden and the fan, or the non-fan of Jennifer asking the question. That was wild. I was really close to buying a Tom Tom t-shirt because in person they are really cute, okay? I'm not proud of myself for having wrestled with that, but I did. I wrestled with it. And I will have you know I didn't end up buying one, okay, everybody? But I did wrestle with it. Love seeing all the other podcast creators out there and content creators. I got to run into a bunch of them, and that was super fun. And my God, what a difference between Las Vegas and New York. And what I'll say about that is that it just was more expansive. You could really breathe here in Las Vegas at this convention. You just walked right in, and the next thing you know, you're sitting at an Ask Andy panel, and that was wild. It just felt like it was more spread out, and people were able to get what they needed, whereas I think that was some of the controversy from last year in New York. People with VIP passes didn't get to sit at a panel or something like that, whereas there was just an abundance of seating. They really did it right. And I'm curious to see what they'll do for years to come, because even though I love it being in New York, because the vibe is just so much more frenetic and it's exciting to be in New York City, Las Vegas really, logistically speaking, makes more sense in terms of space. So, but as we know, SEMA was going on in the city, and that was such a pain. There were so many road closures, and just there was extracurricular madness happening, which wasn't appreciated. But regardless, we all pushed forward, we all pushed through, and we made it. Anyway, love you, Mary Payne. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it either. I've only listened to Ronnie's. That was 14 seconds long. I know that Ryan did his from the highway, as he does. And I'm still looking. John Hill is going to send it to me, but who knows when it will be.
You guys, maybe I'll get it before this has to go out. So I'll pop it in there.
And, okay, so we ended on that note, and then we woke up Monday morning and just got ourselves ready and got out of there.
Oh, my God, this isn't over yet, is it?
It's not over, because we still have the airport.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
But okay. Ingrid and I got in that cab to leave and Ingrid said, I feel like I want to cry. I said, me too. I think we were just the adrenaline of 5 days of that, day 6 as we're leaving. I think it was just so glad it was over, but I still had poker chips in my pocket just in case I needed to give them to anybody at the airport, and the rest I had packed. And thank goodness I did, because we met people in line checking in at the airport that we, had BravoCon stuff on. We ended up talking to them. And then as we were going through the TSA pre-check line, Mandy Slutzker was with us and her friend Jody. As we were going through the TSA pre-check line, right ahead of us was Heather Gay and Angie Kay and her husband. And they ended up getting in a first class line and going ahead. But then somehow Heather got left by Angie Kay and her husband and ended up hanging out with me. and Mandy. And we walked through, we did the trim, and Jody did the trim together. We talked. She said that the poker chips are the best idea. As we walked up and found Ingrid, well, we found Angie K and her husband first. And I was like, oh, hey, I met you, blah, blah, blah. And here's the poker chip. They said, we pulled our poker chip out this morning. We're like, this was a brilliant idea. They still had it.
You still had theirs?
They still had it.
Gosh.
And I said, I think that was another key about the poker chip was when people put it in their pocket and pulled it out, they didn't just throw it away like a card.
Right.
Right.
Right. It's hard to throw that poker chip away because it's weighty.
It's weighty. And so as we walked up when we're talking to Angie K, Heather pointed at me to Angie and goes, is this girl me or not? Grateful Dead t-shirt, joggers, tennis shoes, crossbody Louis Vuitton. She's me. And I was like, this is how I dress every day. She's like, me too. Then Angie K started asking me about my purse. And I said, I love this purse. I got it for Christmas last year. I said, I'm a person that switches things out and in on the real a lot. Once or twice a year, I exchange things. I've had this purse for a year. I love it. I'm going to use it the whole time I'm going to Europe. It's a perfect purse. She's like, I really like it. Do you have to buy this part separately? The little thing. I go, yeah, but look, it's perfect for breath spray. She's like, that's amazing. Talked to her for forever. And I was like, oh, I met your husband at the meetup. He had a ring light. She's like, oh, of course. She had on a full length Gucci trench coat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very short without her heels on. So then as we're walking up,
I'm standing in line at the Amex Lounge.
At the Amex Lounge, but I hadn't seen Ingrid for a while because she had gone ahead.
Because I have clear.
She had clear.
Very
and
fancy.
TSA pre-check. So as I'm walking, they go, oh, we're going to this lounge. I go, oh, okay. And then I hear Ingrid go, Mary Payne. I look over. She's front in line at the about to go in to the Amex Lounge. I was like, oh my gosh. So I ran over to Ingrid. Heather and Angie and her husband had already gone in. So we walk into the lounge and there they are. And I walk up, I go, we're not following you, I promise. And Heather goes, they said this is for elite people. What are you doing in here? And I said, well, you wanted to meet the maker of the chip. Here's Ingrid. And she's like, oh my God. And then tell what happened. She started fangirling over Ingrid and tried to steal her away from me.
And said, oh my gosh, I really need somebody like you. Do you freelance? And I'm like, yes. Yes, I do freelance. I don't know if I freelance, but nobody tell her that I'm going to charge her double what I charge her.
No, you're not.
I'm going to charge her triple.
You're going to charge her your regular price that you don't charge me. How about that?
I'm kidding. Yes, of course. But anyway, she
wanted your card, and I go, I have my card, and pulled it out, but my card was your card, and I didn't know that.
And she was like, you guys are on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
She was cute. She couldn't have been nicer.
And then I went to get coffee, and Ingrid went over to the buffet area to fill up her water. And she again said to Ingrid, I'm really serious. I'm going to reach out to you. And I was like, quit trying to steal my producer.
She goes, I really need people. I need a team. And I'm like, surely you have somebody. Because you don't look like that without help.
She was like, Angie K and her husband are my team. She's like, and I was like, and they lost me in the airport.
She was a dear. They were all just so nice.
Great.
And she is much smaller in real life than I thought. I thought she'd be one of those tall, statuesque people. No, she's pretty small.
No, she's about my height in the picture, maybe a half an inch taller.
Yeah.
I was just wearing tennis shoes, and so was she.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had our little snack there and did a little work, and then we went over to our gate, and who was standing there but Ashley Darby with her guy that was with her, I guess was her hair and makeup guy, because we heard him later talking about hair and makeup. She couldn't have been nicer. She and Amber started talking about gyms. I told her that her husband recently played golf with a friend of mine's husband, and I did put that on the podcast and then cut it all out because I didn't want my friend's husband to get in trouble for telling about his golfing. And I said, my friend couldn't believe that her husband had played golf with your husband. And she goes, oh, we probably talked bad about me. I said, no, I don't think she mentioned you at all, but he did FaceTime with the kids. And she said, well, he is a good dad.
He did. She did say that. She said, he's a great dad. She couldn't have been nicer. And I'm a pageant. I wasn't ever in pageants, but I've watched them my whole life.
Yeah.
And she was a pageant gal, obviously. Mm-hmm. And,
so was Candace.
And yes. And I just have always loved her. And she is cute as a button, and couldn't have been nicer, and really with no makeup on was
not a stitch.
Most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. But I was telling her all about my gym because she lives in Arlington and I do too, and I go to this nice new gym for the first time in my life. It's a nice gym. And she's like, well, are there cuties there? Because I've been working out at home and I'm just really looking for some cute guys. And I was like, well, I think they're cute and they're all younger than me. So they're probably right up your alley.
And rumor has it that she had hooked up with Captain Jason from Below Deck, who was the hot commodity.
Yeah.
Rumor has it.
Not a bad choice. He's pretty
Not
cute.
a bad choice. A lot of people wanted to hook up with him, including Bryn and Countess Luann. Maybe he got all three. I don't know. So, sorry, I keep putting...
What was that?
I'm sorry. I keep putting this cough drop in my mouth. My mouth is... voice is shot. Voice is shot. So, then we got on the plane. And Candace was also in first class, but the two of them could not have been any more not speaking 4,000 miles apart, not speaking.
Yeah.
When we were at baggage claim, there was Ashley with her guy, her hair and makeup guy, and then Candace was half a mile away from her, looking at her phone, never looking up, and she had like a driver that got her luggage and took her out.
Mm-hmm. But at the airport in Vegas too, like there was no...
They were not speaking.
Mm-mm.
Not speaking. And Mandy said they were on her plane on the way there. She came on the later flight.
Yeah.
And that they absolutely were not speaking.
Wow.
So that was interesting. And then we got home, and then we came home, and then we fell out and died, and we gave ourselves 2 days, and I went and saw the new baby today, and now I'm ready to roll. And guys, also on Thursday, if you're a member of Supercasting Patreon, you'll be getting the Family Chantel recap with Keisha. That'll be coming out Thursday. And Saturday will be Patreon and Supercast with Matt Marr of Reality Gaze covering Plathville and The Other Way. And I'll be back next week with Keisha on Monday for Love After Lockup. Hope you enjoyed it with Kimberly. I listened. I thought it was great. And then I'll be back with Kimberly on Tuesday to do regular 90 Day. I thought she and Katie did a great job as well. I listened to all of it.
Yeah. They did do a nice job. It was great.
Thank you to them so much. Thank you a million times. I couldn't have done it. And when I'm out of town for 2 weeks in December, guys, there will be some new content, but we'll also probably put up some Patreon and Supercast content to tide you over. It'll be new. It'll be new to some of you.
Right. And I actually we did little updates from Vegas every day for our Prime people. Excuse me. And yesterday, I just thought, well, let me see how long this is. So I put it all together into one chunk, and it's about an hour. So I was thinking, well, maybe if we need a break sometime, or maybe like a special Black Friday episode or something, we could put that out. But, we like to save that for our Prime members, give them a little bonus. But once the shine is worn off of it, I guess we can just put it out there for everybody else.
Oh, we met so many new friends. So many new friends. So that's it. And if you're new here listening and you got to this point, thank you. And if you're old here and listening, thanks to you too. And if that noise you're hearing is Ingrid's dog.
It's my dog. She's just mad. But listen, you guys, I really want to thank you again. And I'm not usually the guest on Thursdays. You don't have to put up with this.
No.
She always has better guests than me, but I'm just here because we're joined at the hip for 6 days.
Yeah.
So
and we did all the things. We did all the things.
Yes, we did. Thank you to everybody who helped us. Leah, Amy, Caitlin, the social media lady.
Nikki. Don't forget Nikki.
Nikki,
Ryan, Amy's assistant for the weekend.
Ryan, Ronnie, Mandy, Amy again for dropping in some, and John, if he gets it in here. But just thank you to everybody. This was really fun.
Really fun. And guys, I would say for BravoCon next year, even if you just get a 1-day pass, you should try to do it.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we'll have to have our own little something.
Well, we did it this year.
I know, but it was hard because Amy sold out so fast. And if you didn't go to the show, you couldn't cut,
That's true. Yeah, lots of people are like, Bunky Meetup. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so dead. Can the Bunky Meetup be from my bed? Because that's where I got to go.
I know.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
These are the best days of our lives. Just raise your glasses high. This one's for you tonight. Fill 'em up, raise 'em up.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.